I have like 10 seconds before it starts streaming. Let me tweet this out and stuff. And then I'll at least see.
You don't have the TrueDFS Twitter, do you?
I do not.
Oh, you do?
No, I said I don't.
Oh.
All right. Well, at least we're live and everything. At least, so for me, I gotta get this out and we gotta let people hop in. But I mainly want to talk about like contest selection first off, because I think you and I are playing in two drastically different types of contests today, if I'm not mistaken. Like I assume you're probably doing more than one line and probably more like high dollar entries, no?
Yeah, I probably have like I have a 333, a power sweep of 150, the single entry 100, or not, I don't even think that's single entry. The $58 is a single entry. I think the 100 is a single entry. And then I'm doing a lot of MME. So I have like 40 lineups in the big dollar, $20 $3 max. Or not the 20 entry, $3 max. But yeah.
Yeah, and like whereas I'm doing like more single entry, the 27s, the 12s, and really like any lower dollar single entry to try and take advantage of like, the people who just hop in on this Sunday who have no idea what they're doing. Like I've been listening to a lot of shows and there's just people like just bringing up what's a 5-1? Like why don't we just play 100% McCaffrey and stuff? So I'm hoping that'll at least move a lot of these contests to like at least instead of paying out 22%, it'll move it to like 28 or something. So I'm just trying to take advantage of as many people who don't know what they're doing as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see me in all those contests too, but those are it's just like repeat of my same main lineups.
Mm-hmm.
I add those as like fillers, $5. Usually not the 27s, but like the 5s, the 8s, the 15s, and stuff like that. I'll fill in.
So let's go ahead and talk about captains and stuff. So for me, it's hard to imagine that like a mid-range play is not the captain today. Between Rice, Pacheco, Ayuk, Samuel, like it seems like those guys would be the only four that I would consider even playing in the captain position. I don't think paying up is going to work because you're too limited on the bottom. Like you don't want to punt twice. You want to try to avoid that. And I don't think paying down for captain is going to work at all today.
So you're saying not to pay down, basically?
Or yeah, like anything lower than Pacheco, like I don't really see the reason to.
I agree. I mean, I've done some just because I'm doing so many lineups, but I have a lot of my main captains. I mean, we'll get to, but like Kittle, I think is good price. Rice is my favorite, one of my favorites. And then Kelsey obviously, and CMC obviously. I'm playing a lot more Kittle, I'd say, and Rice. Those kind of get you off the Debo and IU because like you said, if you play all those four guys or four of those main guys, you kind of have to punt down a little bit. So, hey, also, I'm getting a little bit of echo back from when I talk from you. You probably have me on. It's catching
here. How's that?
A little bit.
That should be better.
Hello.
Because I don't hear the feedback on the video on my end. So
yeah, just a little, still a little bit, but it's better now, I think.
All right.
I mean it's manageable, so it's not like terrible.
All right, so now I got that.
Tweet it out. I was thinking about tweeting out something to TrueDFS page though.
All right, so now that we get that squared away and we have more people joining and everything, if you guys want us to look at any specific player, for me, when I look at this, as I say, I'm doing a lot of single entry stuff. There's really no reason for me to like go through and make an argument for every single person on the slate. If you're playing the 15, if you're chasing the millie, like then you have to either double punt, play different, leave a ton leave a ton of salary on the table. Play defense, low score heavy games. Like that's the only way to get different. Or like fade McCaffrey and play what's his name? The other running back, just praying to God that like McCaffrey breaks his leg or something. Like if you're playing the 15, you should be playing Mitchell. Like you should be playing like wild plays like that. And at least for me, I'm not really interested in like making an argument for everybody. I'd rather just focus on the guys that I actually want to play.
Yeah, I mean that makes a little bit of makes a lot of sense, but I mean My thing today is there's so many options. Sorry guys, I'm tweeting this out right now. I want to say something. There's like so many options that almost like you can get different just because of there's so many weapons on the 49ers and it's priced. I mean, everybody's kind of priced down a little bit. They usually do that for the Super Bowl, make it a little softer a little bit so more casuals come in. Like people aren't understanding how to build lineups. They can almost jam a bunch of these guys in because the price, like Kittle 6,400 and Rice is a good price, and then even Ayuk's 8,800 and Debo's 9,200. So the prices are pretty soft, fairly, versus like having all. But I mean, there's the 10K guys obviously, and then CMC is still 12K, I think. But I think there's just so many options you can get different, just like CMC captain, double defense, or like Moody's in there, Bucker's in there, So there's some different kicker options as well. So I like the double defenses to get different. Kittle's a good leverage spot at captain, and Rice is a good leverage spot at captain. From looking at a lot of the sims, I'm actually getting him when I ran some sims here. I'm actually getting a lot of Kittle and Rice captain as well. I think those are my two favorites currently. So those might be in my big lamps, and you can get other pieces in with them. So it just helps you build a nice roster that you want. Like Brand said, like you're using guys that you want to play. So.
What are you doing with McCaffrey? Because like just the limitations that he causes, we're not playing him captain clearly, but even the limitations that he offers in flex, the fact that he's looking to be anywhere from 45 to probably 50% owned in half the lineups, I'm just not going to play McCaffrey. That's really the only stand I'm taking. I'm not playing any McCaffrey today.
You can fade him. That's fine. I mean, Chiefs do give up a lot to the run though. That's the only problem. But I mean, you can hedge your bet. Like he's like plus 400 for first touchdown score, 4-1. So that's pretty good. If you want to hedge there, maybe he scores first or something. But he hasn't I don't know. I like the Chiefs defense a lot too today. So a little bit, I think they're a little bit of leverage play for me. I'm mixing them in. I'm mixing the 49ers in, obviously. But I mean, I do have some CMC captain, then I do have some him in the lineup, and then I'm do fade him a lot. I do fade him quite a bit actually, because I like a lot of the other pieces in the game. So I'm a little bit lower on Purdy too. I might have to jam a little bit more Purdy in. I think that's the only thing I don't like is like Purdy and CMC. Like if you fade CMC, you're probably playing Purdy, which may be lower owned, I'm guessing. But yeah, Purdy's going to be lower owned than CMC. More people are playing the CMC, just jam him in type thing. So, but he's got 30-point upside too, so you got to be cautious of that. But I'm definitely I have lineups with no quarterbacks. I have lineups with no CMC, plenty of those. I have some with just Kittle or like Debo captains with no Purdy. Like I do different things to get wild a little bit because there's so many weapons on this game that you can get points out of people just by receptions and yards that you don't need. A quarterback could throw a pick or fumble it or not be optimal either because of the pricing. So I'm kind of doing weird stuff like that. So I don't know your take on that. I know. I want one thing I want to give out news is McKinnon is available. It looks like the news came in. Why is this jacked up now? The news came in for McKinnon to be in, but he's just active. I don't know if he's going to play or not. So there's still some risk there, but he's $200. Use check's $800. He's popping a little bit. He's been getting some deep passes, like some wheel type routes too, a little bit in the game. So it's kind of weird, but he's popping. Then you always got like Elijah Mitchell. So you got some cheaper guys. And then you got like all the random cheap guys for KC, like Sky Moore, Justin Watson. Those guys are like 20% route running, 28% route running for Watson. Scantling, MBS probably be the chalkiest at 3K at 14%. I'm getting him 14%. That seems kind of low for him, to be honest with you. But Watson's 11, then Noah Gray at 26%. He's actually getting a lot of use at 1.8. He only runs like 15, 20% routes, but I mean, there's some small dump offs, short dump offs he can get. I don't know. That's almost like a fade spot for me at 26%, but I like some of these other cheaper guys better. I like, than that. So I don't know what's your take on that. Edwards-Helaire at 16 with McKinnon back. I don't know if that comes down or not, but it's kind of what I'm seeing.
So for me, whenever I was looking at stuff, even early in the week and now, I just wasn't playing anybody in like the two. Like if I would actually prefer the kickers in the 4K range or the 3K range. Like I don't plan on playing that. For me, regardless if I get a 0, I frankly don't care on my last guy because there's there's 9 like actually good players in this game. It's McCaffrey, good in terms of like actually projecting for real points. McCaffrey, Purdy, Pacheco, Mahomes, Debo, IU, Kelsey, Rice, and Kittle. I think you need to get 5 of those in your line, however you can do that. For me, that's playing use check. And for me, like I think he's going to score like 2-3 points. I don't care if he scores me 0. If I don't need to rebuild with McKinnon, but if I was playing a more expensive captain, if I wanted to chase just more expensive guys, I would take the 0 from McKinnon, to be honest with you. For $200, I would just take the 0. I don't care if he scores me anything, fantastic. I would build with the 0 because I think you have a higher chance of outscoring a vast majority of the field. You're not going to win any contest you're in, but getting a 0, like that's going to be very difficult to overcome the 0 from McKinnon if he scores that. But if you can get anywhere from 96, 98, 99 raw points from your other 5 guys and McKinnon scores a 0, I think you're perfectly fine. And so I would actually prefer playing either Juszczyk or McKinnon and just avoiding the 2 and 3 and 4K ranges entirely.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm seeing some Juszczyk captains. I'm seeing some of that punt and stuff in the captains and builds too out there, just from searching around and looking at what people are doing. You have those cheap guys, right? Like you can take a cheap guy. Obviously, it makes it feel easy for you to take one of these 3K guys or these $1,200 guys and put them in captain, and then you can play double QB, CMC, Rice, Pacheco, Kelsey. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna probably be chalky with some people. And then the captain could score 50 points, and you got a guy with 4. So like, I definitely think there's some cheaper build captains with like Kittle, Rice that I like. That's why I like them so much with the upside they have at good price where you can still make a good roster with kickers or some middle of the range guys. I don't have to dumpster dive in those $200 players all that often. So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I've built quite a few lineups. I'm probably going to add about 70 more. So I don't know where I'm at there yet, but see how many more I add to the MME today. I've built over 60. So yeah, we've been cranking them out. I should look at my exposures, but I have my main lineups. These kind of screw me up when I look at my exposures. Probably have too many Kelsey lineups. Kittle, I got a lot of for sure. Rice, Kittle, one of my favorite guys today. You got any? You playing like Elijah Mitchell could get in the box? You getting any of that, or you're just all avoiding it all?
No, I mean like Mitchell's only way through is if McCaffrey injures. If McCaffrey is injured in this game, like I said, if you're playing the 15 and 3, I think he should be overweight on Mitchell to the field. Past that, there's no reason to play Mitchell. Juszczyk runs a completely different, not position, but back. I mean, he's a fullback, but like the way he's using the offense is not a replacement for McCaffrey. Like if McCaffrey goes down, like Juszczyk isn't the direct pivot. That's Mitchell. Same thing with McKinnon and how him and Hilaire work in the offense. McKinnon is not filling, or he's filling a different role than Edwards-Hilaire. We typically see whenever McKinnon is active, he's actually getting more workload and snaps compared to CEH. And so, like, when we're looking at the backfields of like trying to get different and stuff, I just don't see a way that Mitchell works, and I don't see a reason why you should be playing like Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. And that's kind of going back to like that's eliminating a guy in the 4K range, one of the more popular like guys in the like 12K or like 1200 range. Like I just don't like it. For me, Gray would be the only person I would play. If I'm playing somebody in the thousands, it's Noah Gray. He's actually getting more targets than other guys. We're seeing the Chiefs use more 2 tight end sets, and I still don't even like him. That's really the only reason that I would venture into the $1,000 range at all.
Yeah, sorry. Sending some messages. Goldie just dropped some nice tidbits in the Discord only. So if you're premium, go check that out. DK Showdown projections. These won't go on the site or SaberSim, but there's a nice little chart he dropped in there for that. Also, guys, if you're not in there, you guys want to get in there, you can feel free to message us, ask questions in the Discord, get in the Discord, check it out if you're not a member. Also, ask some questions in the chat. Let's get it going. I know we moved our show around all day today, so not many people know about 2 o'clock. It's pretty good. Other shows are ending right now, so we should pick up some traction here. So drop your questions in. We'll get them answered. But If not, we're gonna be building a lot of lineups today, guys. We're not gonna be. There's not a lot to talk about with one game, right? I mean, we kind of can go over play by play. We went over captains. We went over a lot of that good stuff. I know we went over what we're playing. MME's kind of crazy. There's some big contests still not full, so get your entries in if you want. You know, there's some good prop bets. I like the overs on some of the receiving yards. People are dropping some bets in the chat as well. So, you know, Bobby's got his exposures in there for his lineups he built. He's very high on Pacheco, very high on Mahomes and Kelsey today. Only about 50% CMC, 46% Debo. So check out the rest of his guys there. You know, that's what he's at. I mean, that's about what Brandon's saying. Just fade CMC a little bit. He's playing 100 entries into the millie. So I think they're playing more limes like Brandon and even me probably. I don't know if I'll get to the full 100 in the millie, but I might be 60, 70 in the millie. So
Okay, so like, I mean, I think that your conversation would actually be like more fun to have because you're actually playing the millie. Like when you approach that type of stuff, where do you start off first? Like where's the first part of your process? Is it identifying where the field is going to go and then pivoting that way, or is it just starting? I'm just going to build whoever I like, and then have like 2 to 3 min uniques. Like what direction do you usually go? Because I normally go, I need to figure out where the field is going to go. That means I need my first builds are going to try and imitate what the field would do. So like that would be, McCaffrey in the flex, probably playing Kelsey and Mahomes. And at that point, then identifying, kind of where people are going in the 12K range. Like, how do you go about building for like a millionaire maker, like where you need to get different to do well?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some crazy chalky builds win in the millie. I mean, they haven't been that different a lot lately. But to be honest with you, like I run a lot of optimal builds first to kind of like feel it out. I look at leverage spots based on ownership, based on projection. I look at some data charts similar to what like Goldie would send in the Discord he just sent, like just kind of where you're seeing leverage. And that's why I identified Rice as being a good leverage captain, Kittle being a good leverage captain, and their affordable captain with upside. Yeah, Kittle's not the first option that Purdy goes to, but he can be big games. He's a good player. He's out on the field. It's about being out there. A lot of the usage and the ownership is great for him at the captain. So like you're getting above the field there, and then you can fill out your roster well above the field. If he goes off, you're in a driver's seat. Obviously, CMC's the chalk play of the day. He's explosive. He can get 150 yards on the ground easy and 80 yards catching the ball with 7 catches, you know what I mean, and 3 touchdowns. But like just to get different off that, you want to find these hidden gems. Like, but for me, it's not always about finding a unique player. It's about how I build my roster. Like, hey, I put CMC with Elijah Mitchell, or I put Noah Gray with Travis Kelsey. I do a lot of different double running back strategies. A lot of my strategies are the 2+1 I talk about on the 2-game slates on the teams. No one plays 2 receivers without the Purdy, So if you play something like like Debo captain, he can get a rushing touchdown, and then, maybe he gets 7 catches for 90 or 110 yards like he's been, but Purdy's didn't throw any because CMC scored all the touchdowns on the ground. So you still need CMC, but maybe Debo's a cheaper captain where it lets you get some other pieces that went off without having Purdy in your lineup. So just how I build and roster construct is really how I get different. I mean, obviously we're only got one game, so the main players are the main guys. Dumpster diving on who's going to catch it. Jawan Jennings, maybe I threw him in some. I'll probably have every player. Hardman a little bit. I mean, I don't have any Richie James. I don't have any Chris Conley, Blake Bell, Ray McLeod, but those guys are all, they could catch one bomb for 70, come in the game for someone that gets dinged up, But I mean, like maybe if you start building a lot of lineups, I want to throw some more of those guys in. Probably if I get to 60 more lineups, I'll mix and match. But it's just how I construct it, really is what I do. And I hand build every one of them. So I get the feel on each lineup I build.
Are you concerned at all about how unfun this slate potentially can get with McKinnon at 200 and how a lot of optimizers and stuff are wanting to jam him in now?
Are they jamming him in yet? Well,
yeah, because then you can just fit all the flex positions. DraftKings have done a really good job this year at pricing everybody up who could potentially play or who not potentially play. Now, certainly a lot of lineups that are projected to cash well, not even in cash lines, but in a lot of single entry GPPs now are having McCaffrey and McKinnon in that. And if you run those two guys in the flex, you're at like $9,400 on average for that. Are you concerned at all about those types of builds actually like holding a huge chunk of these contests? Because that is one thing that I am concerned about, is that we're going to have a huge train with very, very similar lineups now, that like that type of build is very easy to build and put together, whether you're using an optimizer, whether you're building a lineup at the bar. You hear McKinnon's playing and you see him for basically a free square. You just jam in all the studs.
Well, I mean, that's viable, but there is quite a few studs, so there have to be a couple different trains going, which is viable, which will probably happen now that more people are playing McKinnon. But also, McKinnon could play zero snaps. We don't know. He was last year's kind of crazy play. Everyone didn't play him last year, and like people won a bunch of money that had him low ownership last year when he scored like 2 touchdowns or something in playoffs. But I mean, currently, I don't think I want him in my big lineup because there's so many other weapons that can score more points than him. And if I play like that mid-range captain or Rice or Kittle, I don't need a $200 player. If I play a defense or if I play a kicker, I can feel good about my lineup. And there's a chance McKinnon, even if he got in the box, he's probably only going to have 8 or 9 points. Yeah, that's great for $200, but Moody could score 16. And that balanced build come to life a little bit better if it's more, because there's so many different high-end options today. So, I mean, he is viable. I'm going to play him some. I have him in some. I think he plays a little bit, but I don't think should be your priority as of right now. He's not
Man,
mine.
that's so interesting you say that, because I thought for sure you'd be saying the other thing. Because like even with like a McCaffrey captain line, like those lines look so good with McCaffrey and McKinnon. Like I think a ton of people are going to do that. Like I think a majority of
But
McCaffrey
I'm
lines
telling you
now
what
are
I'm
going to
going
have
to do.
McKinnon at
I don't
200.
want to do that, I think.
You what?
I said I don't think I want to do that because I think you're right. It's going to be chalky.
Yeah, like I'm.
Yeah. I would rather have McKinnon captain and see what does that look like. Has anybody built one of those?
Oh, I don't. I think that's kind of dead on arrival. But like McCaffrey, McKinnon, Pacheco, Rice filled out with the rest of the balance plays like that, I think those are going to be huge. Like that is how, like if McCaffrey goes off, it's going to be through like a McKinnon lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, because McKinnon. Yeah, but McKinnon. I mean, even if he gets a 0, we've seen a 0 win. Like a 0 win. You're right, but that's if CMC goes off. CMC goes nuclear. You probably need him at the captain with a 0 and somewhere there, and then the four other guys that are needed. That are the main guys that score, and then whatever flyer that you can fit in there with the 5th spot.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not bringing this up to, be like, why aren't you playing this guy or whatever? But like for me, like trying to figure out what the field is going to do, like I think I'm perfectly fine fading McCaffrey if McCaffrey scores like 22 to 23 points. I don't think I have to worry about him. If he scores anything more than that, then clearly it's not going to work. If he scores, 18, 17 points, I don't have to worry about it. But like McCaffrey is 45% owned in nearly every contest. Like this needs to be a discussion. If you're having McCaffrey in your lineup, the McKinnon is going to be a huge thing. I like that makes me like fading McCaffrey even more, because then I'm just getting different both with McCaffrey and not having to worry about the McKinnon and McCaffrey lying together. I just hope McCaffrey gets injured, like straight up, like get him out of it. I don't
Well, Brandon, we should never wish we should never wish anybody gets injured in a game.
Why?
He's had bad games in the playoffs though, but he does get in the box too often. I mean, he's a guy. I mean, some people might even think about being above the field on that 45%. Just lock the guy in and lock him in the flex, and he's going to get his 25 fantasy points, and you're going to need it. And you just got to get whoever else is right. There's that strategy too when you're doing MME and you're doing 150 entries. If you're that type of person, you're playing the midi. There's some cheap sense lineups you can max 150. Lock them in and then hope you get the rest of the pieces right. Just put your exposures at different. I don't even know how much so running a standard build on DraftKings or on SaberSim, he's in about 45% of the lineups. McCaffrey is at the captain, and the flex he's in about 40%, 39% of the lineup. So he's in a total of like 70% overall between. He's in a lot of lineups. 70% of the lineups, whether captain or flex, at least. So actually, like 85.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why this talk is so important, because I need to run some stuff to see, because I haven't ran builds yet. I'm just having an idea that McKinnon's probably going to carry anywhere from like 6 to 8, possibly even 10% in some contests and stuff. And if like all those builds are similar, like McCaffrey, just fading McCaffrey seems like the play.
Yeah, I mean, you'd definitely be ahead of the field, but there is a guarantee he probably gets his 25. I mean, he's the lead back. That's the part that sucks, like he's just so reliable because he just gets all the usage, right? He catches balls, he runs the ball. But I mean, I think there is viable that the Chiefs shut down that play. I think they're going to want Purdy to throw the ball today, guys. I think Chiefs are going to come out and try to shut down CMC. I think that's what they're going to do. And I think taking Brandon's idea, fading CMC, is a good idea, just because I think they want Purdy to beat them. If they're going to lose, they want to lose by the pass, not by the run. And I think that's another viable way to think about it. So what do you think on that?
No, I'm with you. Like if I was the Chiefs over these 2 weeks, and I don't really care about coach talk or whatever, but like if I was Andy Reid, I would be like, we got to shut McCaffrey down. If they're going to beat us, Purdy's going to beat us. Like that is the position I would put them into. So moving on to that, like the argument between Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, I think they're the exact same player. I understand that Deebo has rushing upside and stuff, but in terms of their pricing, in terms of their projections, really being in with either half a point or like a point one, like actual like projected DraftKings points. Like, why wouldn't more people play Brandon Ayuk for lower ownership? That makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, I've always liked Brandon Ayuk. I think it's kind of some of the defense, how they funnel in the inside or the outside. You hear about that. Deebo gets the rush work. But yeah, Ayuk's 400 cheaper. I've always liked Ayuk. I played him the other day when he scored that touchdown, but then Deebo started catching all the passes and really started screwing me up, in that game, because I was all over Ayuk when he scored, and I was like, man, dude, I got the right lineup, and then other guys started scoring again. I was like, dang. So, I've been pretty close on hitting some stuff, but you got to get it all right in this game. So, Ayuk's a guy that I really like. Kittle's a guy that I really like today. I'm playing some Deebo, obviously, but I think Ayuk and Kittle are the guys for me this week. I'm over higher on them. So I like Rashid Rice. Those are hard to get in if you're playing a ton of CMC, as well. So you kind of got to mix and match, and probably higher on Mahomes, but I mean, most people probably are too. So jamming him in there a little bit, but I don't mind the double defense. I don't mind no quarterbacks. Pacheco's there, the run game's there. You can do double running back strategy that I've had in the past. I've talked to you guys about Captain Pacheco, BMAC in the chat. I like that. There you go. Do that. Pacheco, and the Lions ran all over the 49ers. They were crushing them. They were putting extra linemen in, and they were just running the ball. I don't think Chiefs do that, though. That's why I'm a little worried of the Pacheco play. Just because I don't think, like, the Lions brought in extra linemen. They had 6 or 7 linemen on there, and they were just beating up the 49ers in the beginning of that game. And I don't think the Chiefs will do that, but there's a way that they want to slow the game down a little bit and score touchdowns, and they can do it with the run if they do that same strategy the Lions do.
Between Ayuk and Kittle, who do you like more? Because Kittle is like in no man's land. Like if you're building around Kittle, you have to build around him, correct?
Yeah, I like Kittle a lot. I mean, 6,400, super cheap, right? He's 6,400, right? Yeah. Captain, I love him. I mean, I think he's the guy. Really, that price is golden to me. Yeah, we should never wish. Yep, exactly, Double J. So, yep, that's right. Check the Discord on that comment. But yeah, Kittle's my guy today. I think Rice is my guy today.
What is with you guys like caring about this injury stuff? You don't even know these guys. This is for. Are we here to make money or here to root for like the
Well,
game? Like I
we
could care
should.
less about the game. I'm literally just here for money. That's the only
Yeah,
reason
but
I play DFS. Like these are just numbers on spreadsheets for me. These aren't even real people, man.
yeah, I get it, but the way to win is never to wish that. That's why I tried to stop you when I could there, Brandon. People are going to get sensitive to that one. That's a very sensitive topic.
Like when what's his face, the guy from the Bills, like when that game ended, like I was so annoyed that they didn't play that game. I was like, bro, I got money on this game. What are we doing? Like, I don't
I
get
was
it,
pretty
man.
annoyed too because I had a round 4 best ball stacked with the Bengals and the Bills, with Josh Allen, with Tyler Boyd run back, which he's already scored a touchdown. So I was literally had a 4 points from Lawrence, and I needed Josh Allen to really bang out a good game. And they didn't play that game, and I ended up in the middle of the round 4. I could have moved way up in the best ball. So, but yeah, like it was crazy that happened. But you know, injuries are injuries. The world's more sensitive now, and you got to just kind of play it out like that. So, what's TC Logic's 22 players only in the projections? What's wrong with our projections today? Are you looking on the site or SaberSim? We see all these guys in here and on the
Yeah,
SaberSim.
I don't understand that. Like, I mean, there's only like, like I said, there's only like 9, 10, 11 real players on this field. Everybody else is like side characters in this. Like in any showdown, there's like 19 viable people with like any projection at all. Like 22 seems just about right.
Yeah. Why can't I get off of this build? All right. Yeah, I mean, there's not that many players in the game total, like so for projection wise. So
Okay, I will say this. This is about the only thing we haven't asked for. Like
okay.
in terms of your types of lineups building for like a certain script, like I assume that you're probably you're probably doing like more 3-3s with San Francisco since you like Kittle probably more than the field, and that's probably going to force you to have like either Purdy or another player from San Francisco.
Yeah, the only problem I was lower on Purdy a little bit. So yeah, if I do Kittle captain, I do have to have Purdy, which feel a little off on that, but he's lower than CMC. But I don't mind playing a lot of Kittle in the lineup with like CMC and doing 4-2 KC a little bit. So Mahomes, Rice, Pacheco, and a kicker, defenses or something like that, or playing MBS or Sky Moore or something. He's back today. No Tony today. But just kind of mixing and match. I know getting down there is what we don't want to really do. I threw Hardman in a couple, just cause he's there. So yeah, I just kind of balance build with the kickers and the main guys. But Kittle's just price tag. It's just so you like. I even have Kittle Ayuk at 8,800. A couple builds fit really nice there. But yeah, like so yeah, Kittle, Samuel, Purdy, stuff. Let's see, what is this one? Kittle. I'm trying to go through some of the good ones that I have. I do have a lot more Kittle so far in the flex, I would say, than I do captain for right now. A lot more him in the flex that I really like, just his price. But I think one of my main lineups is going to be Kittle captain, and Rice captain. I haven't decided on that yet, though. So those are my two favorite guys, though.
Do you consider, like I know we're kind of getting closer and closer to the game. Do you try and consider like how drastically ownership is going to change? Because like just today, mainly today based on projections, I think people kind of react in changing things like from 2 weeks ago from when this was first decided to about Friday, McCaffrey was projected to be the highest owned captain, and then it was Pacheco and then Rice. And now it seems like Rice and Kittle have both jumped Pacheco in terms of the ownership in the captain position. Like, does that affect you at all? Because like for like 2 weeks, Pacheco was like the second best captain. And now everybody's like, oh, everybody's playing Pacheco. I need to not play him and play Rice over him. Like that was my main my main, I guess, question that I've been debating for 2 weeks is do I run Rice captain or Pacheco captain? For 2 weeks, it was Rice is lower owned in the captain position. He would be the better play. Pacheco is the safer, more likely captain between those two to work out. And now it seems like that Rice is going to be the more popular one over Pacheco. Like, are you caring about that at all, or are you just kind of sticking with Rice?
I'm not caring about it as much. They look to me about the same right now. I'm seeing 9-ish% each. Really, like you got to remember, it's going to be probably pretty spread out today. Captain ownership a little bit, besides CMC getting 1/4% or more. But even I'm seeing Mahomes in the 10-11%. I don't have any of that. I don't have any Purdy captain. You'd be really different if you put Purdy captain. I'm gonna tell you that. Debo's light. Ayuk's pretty light, around 6, 7, 9. Pacheco, Rice 9. I'm getting 6 on Kittle here. Nobody's on Moody, Buckirk. Like they're changed. It's obviously changed a little bit. I mean, they even Watson captain at 5%. You got to remember, some of these cheap guys are getting a bunch of ownership too. McKinnon now at 4%. Just they're gonna get some just so you can jam in all these casuals are gonna play one of these cheap guys. Be like, oh my god, Noah Gray's gonna. Everyone knows about Noah Gray. They watch the Chiefs a little bit and they know he catches balls, so they're gonna be on him. That's why he's kind of popping, I think. I have some defense in the captain too. I really like the Chiefs D a little bit today. Obviously, Purdy's made some mistakes. You get pressure on him. I like that a lot. So, yeah, there's just so many viable options today. I think it's going to be more spread out than you think. So, like, pretty much Rice Pacheco plays very similar. I think you're okay either way you go, really. I do have Pacheco and Rice both captain for what it's worth. I'm getting him onto more Pacheco though again, so maybe that's what people are feeling, like a little bit more. Lions beat them with the running the game a little bit. Maybe that the Chiefs can do the same thing. So I don't know. So that's your debate. Which one are you going to go with there?
Yeah, that's literally all I've been. That's like the last thing I've been trying to figure out where the field is going to come on in, and I think I'm just going to stick with Pacheco because his captain ownership has declined over the last 4 days across the slate between multiple sites, and so if that maintains it, I'm just going to stick with him because I think he honestly has a better chance of outscoring Rice, just due to his pass catching and the fact that I think he can score 2 touchdowns more than likely than Rice going over like 100 yards. Like the race for them is who scores more in my head. I think both of them can score right around 17 and 19. I think Pacheco has the more likely chance of hitting 20 to 21, and that's going to be more important.
Gotcha. Oh, Dwayne, thank you guys for all the advice and all you do. Thank you. Appreciate it, my guy. Which under-owned player is sneak to get us in a ceiling points? Ooh, man. That is the question of the day, I think. Currently, projections would say probably Noah Gray is your guy, but he's not sneaky. Well, that's what everyone thinks is going to happen. If you had to choose one, I mean, even Edwards-Helaire is getting too much ownership, in my opinion. Under-owned player sneak into a ceiling points game.
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's clearly Kelsey. So, like the last month, if you were in the TrueDFS Discord, you basically saw me just be like, you should play Kelsey every single week. And thank God the Bills didn't make the Super Bowl because I probably would have lost thousands of dollars constantly putting money on Diggs to finally do something. But the same thing like happened with Kelsey. Kelsey was underperforming for like a month and a half. People didn't want to play him. We get in the playoffs, and he's just literally not even played. Him and Mahomes weren't really played this entire postseason. Kelsey goes off, and he sees a slight increase. I know this is even showdown and like 2 game slates and stuff, but his ownership like barely moves up the second to last or the last game we were in. And now Kelsey is coming off of basically a ceiling game and rivaling what McCaffrey can do. And we're seeing Kelsey at like 6% ownership. So, like, if you're, in my opinion, if you're chasing somebody who's like under owned compared to what his ceiling is and his percent of like actually eclipsing that ceiling, which I would argue is right around like 26 over points, that I think that would be Kelsey. Like, he's not owned enough as he should be in the captain position.
And I'm getting a ton of him too. I feel like I've got too much of him. I'm a little worried because, the 49ers are really good against the tight ends, but they were also really good against running backs, and they gave up a bunch to Aaron Jones and then the Lions. So, you just never know. So maybe it's a Kelsey kind of day. I debated on him or Rice and the captain for my KC side of it in one of my lineups too. Maybe I'll do that in my third one, my single entry build. I like that a lot just because Kelsey's a beast and he's been playing great. I wouldn't say he's under-owned a little bit, though. He's getting he's getting some ownership, 40% roughly, but maybe that comes down. But you're right. He was underplaying, and it was a good call there to play him, and he's really boosted back up, and his salary's back up now a little bit. If I had to go with an under-owned guy, man, I don't know. Kittle's under-owned captain for me by a mile. Elijah Mitchell is the guy that could sneak in and get you and steal a touchdown from CMC. That could benefit you if you're fading CMC. That's a good thing, but I don't think you'd play him. 2,800. That's cap. No, that's flex price. Richie James is a guy that could do something wild on a bomb. Wouldn't say he's a play I'd play. I think Jawan Jennings would be the only guy I like that would be under-owned that has upside getting in the game. Someone gets hurt, Ayuk, Kittle, or somebody. He also comes in and plays anyway, and he's under-owned, but he just runs past one of the KC guys. He's not going to get the good defenders either because Ayuk and Debo will get them. So maybe he comes in and gets a couple of catches. He just has to break one. That would be a guy. I'm just sprinkling him in, just like all these other guys. I just kind of sprinkle in a little bit. But that would be maybe the sneaky guy that I would say if someone does something good. But Kittle captain way under. He's showing about 30% in the flex even. So a little bit 20 or 10% under Kelsey. I'm big on the tight ends today. I think Kelsey, Kittle, Rice, Mahomes, Bill. Those are the guys. I'm just kind of mixing and matching those guys in. Yeah. McKinnon ownership for Saberson was a question. I don't know if we have an updated ownership. When the last update was 1 o'clock. Ownership was 1 o'clock. So even that Saberson hasn't updated that. Interesting. McKinnon.
He is currently projected for 3% in the flex.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a ton yet. I got other projections that are updated early, like recently, like 20 minutes ago. I'm seeing him like 4, so 3, 4, yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe Brandon, you were a little worried that everyone's going to go to him. I just don't think. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Nobody even knows if he's going to play. Coaches brought guys out and said that and never put him in the game. I don't know. I'm worried about it. I'm going to play a little bit of them, but I'm worried. I don't know if that's the jam build or not, but I don't know. We'll see. I think closer to lock, you guys are going to want to stay around, see what Saber does, see if we get any more coach talk, see if we see him out on the field, guys. Remember, they're starting to warm up. They're starting to get out there. They're starting to run plays, first team offense, run some warm up stuff, and then beat writers start to catch it on Twitter, and then it formulates into the DFS world. So I don't know if we got much to talk about left, Brandon. We talked strategy. We talked to all the players, a lot of captains. I'm still stuck on my guns. I think I'm really not getting off my guys. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we about talked over everything. I guess we'll end it on an overall or a coverall like word. I'm assuming you're building more balanced lines than like stars and scrubs lines. I think that has a higher likelihood of hitting. But but that's where I'm at. Like I would recommend people build more balanced lines today.
Yeah,
and try and get at least
I like the
5,
balance.
like,
That's kind of
stud
where I'm at.
players.
I like the balance. Yep.
All right, I do believe that. I think we've truly covered about everything.
Yeah, we had to cover everything. 37 in here watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Last time I checked, we had 8 likes. We have 14 now. I love to see 20 likes in here. 37 of you equals probably 20 people should hit the like button. So don't forget to do that. Also check the Discord. We have some exposures in there. I might drop my final exposures in there because I'll have my lineups done before. Yep, Saber just updated too, guys. If you're on there, people are checking that out. So we'll see what percentage they popped in. I'm still not getting anything here. We got to do another. My builds are all messed up. Well, what does they got McKinnon at TC? I'm trying to update, but I'm not getting it. Still says the same thing.
I think McKinnon comes in around like 6 to 7%.
Okay, yeah, I think 4 is low too, just because I hear a lot of people. I mean, even 10's probably realistic to think about because I think a lot of shows are talking about him too. So
it's not even so. The reason why that is such a talking point, like I'm not going to bring it up on screen, but when we look at SaberSim projections, their highest projected lineups based on their projections based on all the sims that they do and stuff. The highest projected lineup that I built has 105 points. The highest scoring McKinnon line that I have has 103.8 points. That's with McKinnon projected for like 2.1 points. So McKinnon scores 0. The projected lineups are showing that you're going to be within 3 points of the projected lineup score with him scoring 0. Like that makes him actually viable. Like his SaberSim ownership has just increased on this last update. Now he's projected for 4.53. He was just projected for like 3.3. When we were talking about this, I'm not saying that's what his ownership is going to be, but clearly, like lineups with him scoring 0 are projected to be easily within 10 points of lineups that don't have him. That's why he's such a talking point. That's why it's such an important thing to actually discuss.
I know that. Yeah, it's really got me worried too. I mean, you're just going to have to really take a chance on this, I think, with you fading it or you playing him and going for the 0. He gets in the box, and that's 10 points roughly he can get at 200. That's pretty good if your other guys all scored, 20 to 30, So it's definitely a problem to think about, but I think the question is, fading CMC, not fading CMC. There's a lot of other pivotal points today that we've talked about in the show, what to do. So there's definitely decisions to be made. I think a lot of people said, oh, this is just a one game. This is going to just jam all the main guys in. There's just so many different ways to go with the main guys, whether you do, take a scrub guy or you make a balanced guy approach, there's just a lot of different ways to go in the game today. I think it makes it interesting. There's some flyer guys that we talked about, and then there's the main guys we talked about, balanced captain, expensive captain, so we've talked about a lot of the ways today. And I think there is some decisions going to be made. Maybe I think if you watch Twitter today, you watch what's going on in the field, seeing anything and see if we can catch anything later, maybe that will help. Maybe it'll hurt, it could go both ways. And I don't know. We have to use common sense a little bit too. And I know projection are projections, but I don't know. I don't think McKinnon gets in that much, to be honest with you. Maybe he plays a little bit, but I don't know. I'm going to play him a little bit just because I have to. I'm playing a lot more lineups than most people probably, so I'll mix and match them in there a little bit. But I'll play some huge check. I'll play some other cheaper guys too. But I think my main lineups will not have McKinnon as of right now. I just don't. I'm not playing him. I don't think so. I don't know. What do you think? Your main build going to have him, Brandon, or no?
I mean, the main debate has been between Pacheco and Rice, and now, because as I said, I built this with Juszczyk projected for 0. I don't care what Juszczyk scores. I don't care what McKinnon scores. The secondary thing on mine is, do I play Juszczyk or McKinnon because I'm in that range? Like that's something I have to realistically consider.
Yeah, And I tell you what, I've always done the double running backs. So playing Pacheco, McKinnon, don't let that deteriorate. I love the double running backs. Montgomery Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Dillon. I've played all the combinations. I've won
Mhm.
50K with the one night I won 65K. I split with Whistle Go Woo. I had Colts defense. I had Jonathan Taylor, and I had Hines when he scored. So I put the main guy in the captain, and I had the crap guy in the flex. So it works all the time, guys. It works all the time. So double running back, no one puts that together. Optimizers don't play them. People put rules in this. Don't play one running back only, So, but McKinnon will be a little different because he's $200. I think people will have him together with Pacheco. But if you're thinking the zero for Juszczyk or McKinnon, and you have to debate which guy you're going to go to, that's going to be tough. I think Juszczyk does get involved a little bit too, so they're almost like a 50-50 guess on that one, Brandon.
Yeah, I
I'd have a
know. I
hard
mean,
time.
I'm fading McCaffrey, but if I was playing McCaffrey, I would 100% play McKinnon.
Yeah,
I would play McCaffrey captain lineups. If
and
I was
I
playing
have some. I
McCaffrey, I would
have some
not
of
play
that.
McCaffrey in flex. I would play McCaffrey captain
Yeah,
with McKinnon in the flex. I think that is going to be such a huge, huge stack of McCaffrey lines now.
yeah. You're definitely going to be leveraged enough with just that fade. I mean, you're going to be top 15%, guaranteed, Brandon. I don't know. You're always people are always worried about like you said the unique build players earlier, but I mean just making a different build like that. I mean makes you different, makes you in a different field. You're in a different grouping already, So because I'm seeing him at like 70 to 80% at least in flex work opt-in. I think what I say 85%. So I think he's more 85%. I think that's what legit in lineups. So. There's 15% that ain't playing them. I got lineups with not CMC. I got lineups with no quarterbacks. I'm doing it, though. I am doing it. So I think I'm going to build at least 30 more. So for the $15, there's still quite a few spots open, almost 110,000 entries left to go. With like 3.5 hours left before the Super Bowl. So what's up, Nico 66? Welcome in 42. Don't forget the like button. Appreciate you guys all being here. This is the last football show of the season. This is crazy. Yeah, no Bobby or Sheets. They were all both unavailable. So, I've been here. Actually, I've done every game this year in Sunday.
Yeah, you
Last
have.
year,
You have.
yeah, last year I missed a couple. I was on vacation during one of them. I'm going on vacation in a week and a half, actually. So I waited till football season was over this year. Do you know more takes James Routtree and James slides into that Tony role? Do you think Moore takes James Routtree? Oh, with Moore being back, Moore was more involved. Get it more involved, like kind of like Isaiah Likely. He's likely to score, like. So maybe Moore's our guy today or something. But Sky Moore's a cheap guy, 3K. I don't mind filling in. There's just been garbage players. I really like the Kelsey Rice play. I think those are his go-to guys. It's a Super Bowl. He's going to feed those guys the ball. Whether one of these guys gets another touch. James is at 600. That's an interesting spot. You got Hardman there. He's in there too, though. He's in the mix too. So they brought in him. Sky Moore being hurt lately. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Moore gets back in the game, but Hardman's there. I'd just mix and match a lot of them. Oh, the downfield shot. Sky Moore's never been a great downfield shot guy. I'd say a lot of these guys are like Hardman, Sky Moore. They're underneath kind of guys. Like Hardman fumbled the ball. That was terrible when he fumbled the ball on that goal line sweet jet sweep. They ain't gonna do that again, I don't think. So don't worry about Hardman.
I mean, he hasn't really played since he did that anyway.
Yeah, he hasn't really played since he did that either. I mean, I've just sprinkled these guys in just in case something happens. But Moore did get a lot more uses, and he's been one of the guys they've been trying to get in the game regardless of his outcome. And you got Watson there too. You just got a slew of guys for KC. That's why I'm really heavy on the Kelsey, Rice, Pacheco type builds with Mahomes, and then trying to grab someone else, not use those guys. But I'm playing them obviously because I'm doing so many lineups. But my main lineup's probably not going to have any of those guys in it for what it's worth. So I'd rather play kicker. I think Moody's going to get you some points. A lot of times we think, oh, it's going to be a high scoring game. I did like 34-27 Chiefs this week. But then I was like, man, what if they kick a bunch more field goals? Moody will come out. They'll kick field goals in these games. They want to win the game. They'll take the points here. Chiefs do go for it a little bit more. So I like Moody over Butker. we're talking kickers, and I like the Chiefs defense more over the Niners. So that's where I'm at, kickers and defenses, if you want my take. Hopefully I'll drop my exposures in the Discord. If you guys jump over there later today before the game, I'll have those all in there for you once I get all my lineup set. And any more questions you guys want, drop them in the chat. I think we only got a couple more minutes here, Brandon, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really getting much. I'm down to stay however long, but we'll probably wrap it up probably at the top of the hour and stuff.
Yeah. So we've been talking for almost an hour. A lot of good content. A bunch of you guys in here. We're hit almost 50 people in here. So I'm hoping that like button is smashed. Some new names in here as well. A couple new names I haven't seen. So I appreciate you guys for stopping in, checking us out. We got a lot of good content. MLB season's around the corner, so our esports has been on fire for people this week. Brand's been posting his exposures in there. Sheets, Chan's been hitting constantly. We got a bunch of good subscribe members of our community that have been just smashing. I haven't even got a post out today I was going to do with some guys I hit yesterday and some NBA street stuff. So $15 out of turning $30 or something into 1,500 or something. So that was pretty good. So yeah, everyone's been kind of spreading between, NBA, esports, and hopefully we have a big football day today. One of us got to take something down. So yeah, it's going to be hopefully a big day today, So yeah, it doesn't look like we got any more questions, Brandon. I did my spiel pretty good. Seems a lot of the people keep hanging around. So yeah.
Yeah, I do believe we are about done. So anyway, at least to you, Rody, I wish you the best of luck chasing the Millie today, man. Because I do not have the stones to do that.
Yeah, it would be nice to do that, for sure. Yeah, we did it. The 20 likes, guys. We got to 21. So appreciate everyone for watching all our videos this football season. Appreciate everyone for being around. We'll end the video the standard way that every Sunday video has been ended. Saturday. We've done Saturday videos too, but I don't know. Whenever Brandon wants me to send it off, I'll let him say that. We got no more questions. Oh, we got another question. K Sizzle. Any suggestions for settings for optimizers so that I can be different for the GPP? Well, SaberSim does a lot for you already. If you watch a lot of Sheets videos that he's done, he does a lot of good process videos. I would jump in our Discord, check out some of the videos that people post in there for process videos that he's done in the past. He doesn't change a lot, but if you do want to change it, there is a unique setting, right? You can add a couple uniques in there, like 1, 2, or 3. If you want to be different, throw 3 uniques in. That will get your lineups different between each other a little bit more than they are where you're running like a group core more. So run that. A lot of the SaberSim builds into the sim. We have sims we offer. It builds into your sim diversity and correlation a little bit. So you don't care for the correlation today, but sim diversity you would want to be very high, and then I would trigger that uniques a little bit farther up the number, however you want to be different between your sets. And it depends on how many lineups you're building. You can go even more higher to get different, each one to be really different from each other, or you can keep a tighter pool and keep a smaller unique, I think. Did that help answer it? Brandon, you got anything to answer that with more?
Yeah, and then K, I mean, it'll also depend on what GPP you're playing in as well, because that's huge. There's no reason to punt stupid if you're in a single entry for 4,000 people. But if you're playing anything more than 10 to 15, even just using the SaberSim, I try and get 3 minimum unique, especially depending on how many lines you're doing. If you're doing 10 to 20, I mean, you got to start really, really diversifying your pool. But that's mainly about it. But good to see you here, Kay. I know you're one of my guys. I don't know if you're in the Discord, but I'll certainly help you once the live show is over if you do have any questions.
Awesome.
Well, Rody, I think I'm going to end it here. I know you got your little thing that you like to say at the end.
Yeah, it's just kind of trendy. I think everyone just always, the Bobby and Sheets put it on me to do that. And then Sheets has been saying in some of the videos too, so but all right, glad to have you guys all here this season. It's been wonderful. We're gonna keep getting it, and let's have a big end of the football season. And as always, guys, let's get it.